Our wildlife pond were built in Hibernaculum by UK Amphibians and all things wildlife. The frogs, toads and newts are back to breed in our wildlife pond. It's the 20th of February 2024. The temperature outside is 7 degrees, so it's starting to warm up slightly for February. And what does it help? It helps the frogs and the toads and the newts return back to our pond to breed. This is the first time this year the frogs, the toads and the newts have entered our pond to breed. As the weather is warming up, this attracts the frogs and toads and newts back to our pond. If you saw our previous video last year, it was around the same time in February the frogs started to come back and the toads started to come back to breed. In fact, the toads didn't come back till later last year, so the toads are actually earlier this year. It's only a couple of male toads that are in the pond, as the male toads come first and then the female toads will come later. If I remember, it was about April last year the toads come back, so they've come back a lot earlier this year. But the frogs and the newts were definitely around in February last year, like in this video here. This area here is all our Hibernaculum area, and it looks like one of our newts have come out of it here. So over winter the newts will stay in here, same as the frogs and toads, and they'll all stay in the Hibernaculum till the weather starts to warm up, like today, well tonight actually, and come out and enter the ponds to breed for this year. So all the stone walls you're looking at here is all our Hibernaculum area. If you haven't seen part 1, we actually show you how we built all our Hibernaculum and how we built all the pond. So as we go along, this is all the Hibernaculum area, and all the gaps in the sandstone lead into the Hibernaculum area, and this is where most of the frogs, toads and newts hibernate in there over winter. And then at this time of year, when it starts to warm up the weather and it's more rainier too, they start to come out to breed in our wildlife pond like they're doing today. Here is a male common toad waiting for a female common toad in our wildlife pond. This is really early this year, the male toad. Last year they came in April, so hopefully they might spawn a bit earlier this year if some of the female toads come along too. Here's a closer look of the male toad. Here's a nice male common frog, and then if we look in the pond, there's quite a few newts knocking about as well. Some frogs down the side of the plants there in the pond. There's another frog there hiding between the yellow flag iris. There's a newt there. So a tip for you guys that obviously new to watching, always look around your pond at this time of year. If you've got a nice big pond and you've had frogs and toads in over the years, and this is normally the time of the year, just after the beginning of February, they all start to come back to the ponds. Here's another common frog in the pond. Looks like we've got a nice breeding pair there. So the male toad is on the top and the female toad is on the bottom. As it's early February, there's plenty more frogs, toads and newts which will start arriving at the pond as well. Mainly at night they will be travelling to the pond, and especially on rainy days, rainy warm days above 10 degrees, they tend to travel. So if it's quite cold at night, I don't really go out and look, because they're normally not moving at that time if it's below 10 degrees, but definitely above 10 degrees. Have a good look around your garden on a night, and especially if it's raining, you will find them all around your garden. Here's another newt and another male common frog. So as you can see, there's plenty more frogs and toads and newts arriving back to the pond this year, which is in February. So if you're new to our channel, guys, and you haven't seen how we built our wildlife pond, and it's built in Hibernaculum, search for part 1 after our videos here and you will find it there. It's a great watch, guys, and it shows you how it develops over the years too. So as we walk around the pond, we come around the edge of the pond to the side of the pond where the frog spawn was laid last year. This area here was where all the frog spawn was laid last year. So looking at the side of the Hibernaculum area along the wall, you can see quite a few newts. The one we just saw there and the one here, these are female newts, and they're more likely to be palmate newts as I get more palmate newts in my pond. I do get smooth newts. I have a back garden pond which they go in, and you normally find the smooth newts normally more in the back garden pond. This pond is more full of palmate newts. So when you're looking around the pond, it's best to have a torch to have a good look around the pond on a night. I've also got my camera which has got a light on it as well, which does help. And in the pond here, if you look closely enough, we have you ever heard of a toad ball? Well, this is not toads, it's frogs. So we have actually got what you call a frog ball in our pond. There's actually 2 males there and a female. The female is obviously in the middle, and the one male frog has got it round where it should have the female in amplexus, but the other male frog has got the female frog underneath as well. Now this is really dangerous for the female frog because she can drown like this. So I don't like seeing the frogs doing this to a female. So if I do see this, I do try and help them out. I'll put a net in the pond, get them both out and release one of the males off, which I would release the male that's on the bottom off because he's actually in the wrong position and he will unfortunately drown the female, which I have seen done in the past, and now I've learnt in the past to help them out and do this. So I've actually caught them in the net, and obviously a newt as well with the looks of things. And here I will take the toad off the bottom, not the toad, the frog from the bottom of the female. I'll leave the male frog on the top of the female so they can continue to breed and lay some frog spawn in the pond for me. So if you just bear with me 2 minutes, it's quite difficult trying to film this for you guys, as well as trying to release the male frog off the female frog. I've obviously put my hands in the water and give them a good wash because I don't really like to touch the amphibians much really with my bare hands. But if you give them a good wash in the water, you'll be fine doing it that way. And obviously the frogs are going straight back into the water, so any things that could be on your hands, they'll get washed off straight away in the water. Right, here I've just let the male come off. Obviously I'll put the breeding pair back in first. quite slippy where they've just come out of the water. So there the breeding pair goes back into the pond, and now I'll get the male frog and let him go back in the pond, and he's off, and hopefully he don't grab hold of the breeding pair again, because sometimes they do that. Sometimes the male frogs are really attached to one certain female and they'll keep trying to breed with them, so I'll just keep an eye on them. And here is a lovely male palmate newt that I'll let go back into the pond, and he'll be off to breed with another female palmate newt. So there you have it, guys. Remember, search for part 1, how we built our wildlife pond, in our videos. Thanks for watching. Please give us a like and comment on all our videos, and don't forget to subscribe to see more amazing content like this by UK Amphibians and all things wildlife today.